Namaskar, Jai Hind. I, Dalit Mishra, appearing for an organization of the Brahmins, World Brahmin Federation, walking on the path of Sanmarg, the auspicious path with auspicious minds. We are here to make this presentation to our government, as we are committed to wellness of every Indian. We, the eternal saviors of the nation, following the tradition of Acharya Vishnugupta Chanakya, we make this presentation and dedicate it to service of our nation. Let me ask a question up front. Do we really understand Pakistan's current Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his shrewd moves against India? I'm sorry to say, I don't think we do understand him. He initiates things against India and we do respond back, and therefore we need to review our diplomacy with Pakistan with the help of historical data as we would see going forward. We are sure, our countrymen, that you would have also observed a fault line in our approach while dealing with Pakistan, which is a belief that Pakistan has many power sectors. Their PM is soft on us, but ISI and army are the hardcore inimical players. The historical data presented here in the table below reveals that during the peace time, Pakistan's Prime Minister and generals were working in synchronization against India. Let us see what is data. In 1974, when we conducted our first nuclear test for the peaceful purposes, Pakistan responded after a decade, conducting 24 cold nuclear tests right from 1983 to 1990. And when we went for conducting the second nuclear test, again for the peaceful purposes, Pakistan responded within 2 weeks, conducting 6 nuclear tests. This suggests they are always prepared against India. It is also notable that against and unlike India's nuclear policy, their nuclear policy is to have the first nuclear strike against their enemy. Historical data on peacetime standoffs between India and Pakistan armies also reveals that Pakistan is always prepared and it has no confusion that India is its inimical country. So our fault line is needed to be corrected. In 1947, we had incidences like Sir Creek and Junagadh, when Pakistan claimed control over territory, which included Indian Kutch and Junagadh. In 1984, we had Siachen. When we undertook Operation Meghdut, but Pakistan consistently attempted to take control over Siachen back in 1985, 1987, and 1995. In 1986, we conducted Operation Brass Tack. In that, Our army was deployed alongside the Pakistan's boundary. It was also to test Navy's swiftness in any emergency situation. But Pakistan was not behind. Pakistan too deployed its army within weeks. Its entire southern command, its combat ships, all got deployed very swiftly. Pakistan's foreign minister Noorani said Pakistan may use nuclear weapons against India. So such is their preparedness against India. We can say, in the view of these historical data, that we need to correct this fault line. We still have several diplomatic options. I would suggest to capitalize on international awareness on terrorism, which is increasing day by day. Let's coin a new term, international terror. As we see, with logistics support coming from Pakistan, terrorists are able to attack several destinations, anywhere from Malaysia to Arab nations. This is a matter to worry. This is also the time for India to raise demand for global anti-terror squads involving United Nations or otherwise any agency. Such squads can strike on terrorist camps in countries like Pakistan. We should also make serious attempts to get identified terror harboring zones across globe. Terrorists, terrorist supporters under red corner notices should be targeted at first. We should also make strategies to create similar problems in Pakistan like Kashmir. We know that Kashmir is boiling. So what are the measures to handle Kashmir? Some initiatives that we can have. We need to modify Article 370, if not directly, then in pretext of investments and industrialization. Every Indian and every Kashmiri should have equal right to have assets everywhere. We should begin setting environment with direct discussions among political parties and also indirect debates by journalists and thinkers. We need to identify and declare locations for Kashmiri Pandits and ex-army men. We should create awards, scholarships, and prizes for those who work for peace and harmony in Kashmir and rest of India. We cannot afford to not to have it. While doing all of this, we should also ensure security forces' response quality against terrorism doesn't get compromised. This is the time to have a strategic communication framework to communicate with extreme philosophies. Some initiatives, in addition to ongoing debate on common civil code that we can consider, are how to modernize and dilute extreme philosophies of Islam through institutions like IIPR, IGNCA, and ICCR. We should think how we can initiate research projects on pre-Islamic Indian-Arab culture relations. It is the culture that builds bridges among people of different faiths. Elements of Indian culture taken into Arabic culture, such that ideas of surah, rub, and bathing ceremony at Makkah should be explained amicably to audience in seminars, in discussion forums, in media channels. We should also create scholars who work for bringing Muslims close to their Hindu brothers, using history as foundation. There should be no hesitation on citing demolition of temples. Zakir Naik, like extremists, also accept demolition in their lectures. There should be attempts for defining secularism in lines of coexistence, while cutting the ideas of justification to repeated competitive demands of pre-independence era. As we hear today, in terms of objection to Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, etc. There is a need to address Islamic community as a community of people having multitude of faiths, beliefs and traditions, which is also the reality on the ground. Next in our agenda is a solution to manage food price rise in local markets. Some initiatives that government can consider is to create one single position like National Food Price Commissioner or equivalent to this position who can visit entire commodity cycle from produce to delivery to market. He should be responsible to watch hoarding. We should also involve Member of Parliaments in district mandi boards to begin with for price sensitive crop zones such that the zones where dal and onion is produced. Let us look at minimum support prices of dal at various locations as on date. For example, in MP it is rupees 55 per kg and in Gujarat it is rupees 81 per kg. Please note, in MP maximum support price is also fixed. Here are some solutions to food price rise. I would suggest to open private mandis, empowering kisans to sell more and to sell conveniently. Private mandis shall generate jobs in remote circle of villages. Provide financial support to kisans interested in opening mandis. Also register retailers who wants to buy food grains and crops in mandis. We can have mechanism in place like spending 1% of mandi income on cleanliness and primary health checkups in those remote villages. Since minimum support price is noted, companies can be asked to print average buying expenses. It is a tough call to take, but it already exists in system for oil and gas distribution. Quality gradation of food grains such that rice, dal, etc. should be made in place, and accordingly price bands should be designed. Since buying expenses are known, there should be no difficulty. For petroleum products, such a regulatory system is already in place, which relieves government from criticism. Localized prices, regional prices should be encouraged in place of one universal price label for a commodity for entire India. Now we are through with our presentation. In service of our nation, we thank to all for their patience and precious time. Thank you.